My sister abandoned her kids, I raised them, and now that they are all grown up and successful they want to thank me with money, expensive gifts and trip. Now she's pissed they want to thank me, not her. I, 42F, never thought I'd be posting here, but I'm honestly at my wit's end dealing with my sister's bullshit. Sorry for the novel, but there's 15 years of drama to unpack. It was a rainy Tuesday when my sister Lily, 44F, showed up at my apartment with her 3 kids, Jamie, 4M, Emma, 6F, and Tyler, 8M, and 2 suitcases. Her eyes were puffy from crying, mascara streaked down her face. The kids looked terrified, clutching their small backpacks like life preservers. I can't do this anymore, Kate, she whispered, practically shoving the kids toward me. I need to find myself. Just for a few months. Those few months turned into 15 years of complete silence. I remember standing in my doorway, dumbstruck, as she handed me a crumpled envelope with some cash and the kids' birth certificates. Emma was clinging to my leg, her little face buried in my jeans. Tyler was trying so hard to be brave, jaw clenched, refusing to cry. And little Jamie just looked confused, his Spider-Man pajamas peeking out from under his coat because Lily hadn't even bothered to dress him properly. She left that night, promising to call the next day. She never did. Not the next day. Not the next week. Not the next month. The kids waited by the phone daily at first. Then weekly. Then they stopped waiting altogether. No birthday calls. No Christmas cards. No child support. Nothing. She completely vanished from their lives. Her cell phone disconnected. Her social media went dark. The few mutual friends we had said she'd left the country, but nobody knew where. It was like she'd evaporated into thin air, leaving 3 shell-shocked children and me to pick up the pieces. I was 27, single, with a starter apartment and a job that barely covered my own bills. But what was I supposed to do? These kids had already lost their dad to cancer the year before. Now their mom had literally abandoned them without a trace. The despair in Tyler's eyes that first night as he realized his mom wasn't coming back, I still have nightmares about it. So I did what anyone would do. I stepped up. I moved to a crappy 2-bedroom apartment where the kids shared one room and I slept on a pullout in the living room. I worked 2 jobs, my marketing gig during the day and waitressing on weekends. I learned to cook more than just ramen, how to braid Emma's hair, how to help with math homework I barely understood myself. The first year was hell. I'd wake up to Tyler sobbing silently in the bathroom at 3 a.m. Emma developed separation anxiety so severe that I had to sit in the school parking lot for 3 hours on her first day back. Jamie started wetting the bed again. And me? I was running on coffee, fear, and the desperate hope that I wasn't fucking them up worse. I missed happy hours with friends. I missed dating. I missed sleeping. But we made it work. I remember eating ramen for a week straight so I could afford to get Tyler new sneakers for school after his classmates made fun of his old ones. I remember teaching Jamie to ride a bike in the parking lot of our apartment complex, both of us covered in band-aids by the end. My dating life became a joke. Try explaining to a Tinder date that you have 3 kids who aren't yours but also are yours in all the ways that matter. Most guys ran for the hills. My friends slowly disappeared, except for my ride-or-die bestie Sarah who would bring over wine and let me cry on her shoulder when it all became too much. Eventually, I got legal guardianship. When Lily stayed gone for years, the courts declared her to have legally abandoned her children. The kids all took my last name. We became a real family, broken at first, but stronger with every passing year. Fast forward 15 years. Tyler, now 23M, is a tech wunderkind who sold his first app at 19 and now runs his own company worth millions. Emma, 21F, finished nursing school early and launched a successful medical staffing company that's already expanded to 3 states. Jamie, 19M, turned his baseball talent into a full scholarship, but he's also a gifted investor who started trading stocks at 16 and now has a portfolio worth over $500,000. They are each wildly successful in ways I never could have imagined, with bank accounts that make my modest marketing director salary look like pocket change. I'm beyond proud. There were moments I thought I'd fail them, like when Tyler got caught shoplifting at 14 and I had to pick him up from the police station, terrified they'd take him away from me because I wasn't his legal guardian. Or when Emma had her heart broken at prom and cried for days, and I felt helpless because I couldn't fix it. Or when Jamie broke his arm right before an important game and blamed himself for letting his team down. But somehow, we made it through. I remember the day Tyler got his college acceptance letter. He handed it to me across the dinner table, his face unreadable. When I saw it was a yes, with a scholarship, I burst into tears. He came around the table and hugged me so tight I could barely breathe. "I did it for you, Mom," he whispered. I've never felt prouder or more heartbroken at the same time. Lily? Gone. Vanished. No contact for 15 years. The kids stopped asking about her eventually. Their therapist, yes, they all needed therapy, said they'd processed her absence as a kind of death. Most days, we didn't think about her at all. She became a ghost, someone who existed in old photographs but nowhere else. Then came my birthday last week. The kids planned a surprise, and holy shit, what a surprise. They pooled their money and bought me a $4.2 million beachfront house in California. A house. Tyler handed me the deed with tears in his eyes. "You gave us a home when we had nothing," he said, voice cracking. "Now we want to give you one that can never be taken away." But that wasn't all. Emma had a luxury Tesla delivered with a giant bow on top. "No more driving that death trap to work," she laughed, referring to my 15-year-old Honda. Jamie arranged for a private jet to take us on a first-class, all-expenses-paid world tour, Tokyo, Bali, Paris, Rome, wherever I wanted, for as long as I wanted. "You never got to travel because of us," he said. "Now you can see everything." I was overwhelmed. They'd also arranged smaller gifts, a closet full of designer clothes, a Rolex watch, a platinum credit card with no limit that they would pay off monthly. It was obscene, excessive, and so much more than I deserved. "You gave up your entire life for us," Tyler said during the surprise party they threw at a rented mansion. "Let us give you back a fraction of what you gave us." I cried like a baby. It was too much, but they insisted. And truthfully, after 15 years of sacrifice, it felt wonderful to be so appreciated. The day after my birthday party, there was a knock at my apartment door. I opened it, still in a daze from the previous day's events. And there she was. Lily. Standing on my doorstep like a ghost made flesh. 15 years had not been kind to her. Her once beautiful face was weathered, lined with hard living. Her hair, previously her crowning glory, was dull and graying. She was rail-thin, almost gaunt, dressed in clothes that had seen better days. "Kate," she said, her voice raspy but familiar in a way that sent chills down my spine. "It's been a while." I couldn't speak. Couldn't move. It was like seeing someone rise from the grave. "Aren't you going to invite me in?" she asked, a familiar edge of entitlement in her tone that snapped me back to reality. "What are you doing here?" I finally managed. "Where have you been for 15 years?" She waved a hand dismissively. "Around. Asia mostly. Found myself a rich businessman in Singapore for a while. Then Australia. Then Europe. It's a long story." 15 years is a very long story, I agreed coldly. She pushed past me into the apartment, looking around with thinly veiled disdain at my modest living room. "So this is where my kids grew up, huh? Cozy." The way she said cozy made it sound like an insult. "They're not kids anymore," I said. "And they're not yours." Her eyes flashed. "I gave birth to them. They'll always be mine. You abandoned them without a backward glance for 15 years. You don't get to claim them now." She sat down uninvited on my couch, crossing her legs. "Look, I made some mistakes. I was young. Depressed. Overwhelmed. But I'm back now, and I want to reconnect with my children." Something in her tone set off alarm bells. "Why now? After 15 years of nothing, why show up today?" She shifted uncomfortably. "I saw Emma's Instagram post. About your birthday." And there it was. Of course she'd seen the photos, the house, the car, the extravagant gifts. Of course that's what brought her crawling back after 15 years of silence. "Get out," I said quietly. "Excuse me?" "Get out of my home. You don't get to disappear for 15 years and then waltz back in because you think there's something in it for you." She stood up, eyes narrowing. "They're my children. You had no right." "I had every right," I shouted, years of suppressed anger bubbling to the surface. "I was there. Every single day. Through every nightmare, every illness, every heartbreak. Where the hell were you when Tyler graduated valedictorian? Where were you when Emma had her appendix out? Where were you when Jamie cried himself to sleep for 3 years wondering why his mommy didn't love him enough to stay?" She flinched but recovered quickly. "I'm still their mother. They need to know I'm back." "No," I said firmly. "You don't get to bulldoze back into their lives and traumatize them all over again. If they want to see you, and that's a big if, it will be on their terms, not yours." She left, but with a threatening, "This isn't over." She was right. It wasn't. The next day, she ambushed Emma outside her office building. Emma came to my apartment that night, shaking uncontrollably. She said seeing her mother's face after 15 years was like being plunged into ice water, a shock so severe she couldn't breathe. "She kept touching me," Emma whispered, hugging herself tightly. "Kept calling me my baby girl like she had any right. She said she wanted to catch up properly over dinner." Emma had fled to her car and locked herself inside, having a full-blown panic attack in the parking garage. The mother she'd grieved and eventually moved past was suddenly corporeal again, demanding attention, demanding love. 2 days later, Lily tracked down Tyler at his company headquarters. Tyler, always the most stoic, the one who remembered her abandonment most clearly, refused to even speak with her. He had security remove her from the building. She created such a scene that it made the local business news. Tech CEO's estranged mother escorted from premises. She found Jamie at baseball practice. Sweet Jamie, always the most forgiving, actually spoke with her briefly. He came to my place afterwards, conflicted and upset. "She didn't even know what I'm studying in college," he said, voice hollow. "She kept calling me Jimmy. She never called me Jimmy. She doesn't know me at all." 3 separate ambushes. 3 traumatized kids. And then, the final straw. She showed up at my office. Walked right up to my desk and sat down as if we were meeting for coffee. "We need to talk about my children," she said calmly. "They're adults, not children." "And they're not yours," I replied, trying to keep my voice level as colleagues glanced curiously our way. "I've seen their social media," she continued as if I hadn't spoken. "They're doing very well for themselves. Very well indeed. If you're only here because they're successful." "Don't be ridiculous," she snapped. "I'm here because I've realized what's important. Family is important. And I want to be part of their lives again. 15 years too late." "It's never too late for family," she said with a saccharine smile that made my skin crawl. "I think we can all start fresh. They've obviously done well for themselves. I'm their mother. Surely there's room in their lives for me now." "Now that they're rich, you mean?" I couldn't help myself. Her smile tightened. "That's a nasty insinuation, Kate. I simply want to reconnect with my children." "Is that so wrong?" "It is when your timing coincides perfectly with discovering they have money." She leaned forward, dropping the pretense. "Look, they've clearly got more than they need. They just bought you a fucking house. A car. A world trip. Don't tell me they couldn't spare something for their real mother." And there it was, the real reason for her miraculous return. "Get out," I said quietly. And stay away from us. Or what? She challenged. Or I'll make sure everyone knows you abandoned 3 traumatized children for 15 years and only came back when you thought there was a payday in it for you. She left, but with a parting shot, this isn't over. Those are my kids, and they owe me. That night, I told the kids everything. We decided they would stay at my place for a few days, safety in numbers. We were all on edge, waiting for Lily's next move. It came at 2 a.m. A pounding on my door so violent it seemed like she was trying to break it down. I know you're in there. Lily's voice, slurred and rage-filled. Open the goddamn door. The kids froze, that childhood terror instantly resurfacing on their faces. Tyler moved protectively in front of Emma and Jamie. I called the police, then cautiously approached the door. Go away, Lily. I shouted through the door. The police are on their way. They're my kids, she screamed, still pounding. You stole them. You stole their love. They're buying you houses and cars while I'm living in a shithole apartment. The pounding got worse. The door actually cracked near the hinges. The kids were terrified. Emma was crying. Jamie looked like he might be sick. Even Tyler, always so strong, had gone pale. When the police finally arrived, they found Lily trying to break my window with a brick. She was arrested for attempted breaking and entering, public intoxication, and disturbing the peace. But that wasn't the end. After her release on bail, she began a campaign of harassment. She showed up at our jobs, our homes. She created fake social media accounts to contact the kids when they blocked her real ones. She told anyone who would listen that I'd stolen her children and turned them against her. The final confrontation came at the housewarming party for my new beach house. Somehow, she found out about it, probably through social media again. The kids and I were showing friends around the beautiful property when Lily appeared on the deck, disheveled and clearly intoxicated. There she is, she screamed, pointing at me as guests backed away in alarm. The thief who stole my life. Tyler immediately stepped in front of me. Mom, you need to leave. Now. I'm your mother. Lily spat. Not her. My mother raised me, Tyler said coldly. My mother was there every day. My mother sacrificed everything for us. That's not you. Lily's face contorted with rage. I gave birth to you. And this is how you repay me? Buying her a mansion while I can barely make rent? Emma stepped forward, visibly trembling but determined. You left us. For 15 years. You don't get to come back now and demand anything. I was sick. I was depressed. I needed time. 15 years is not time, Jamie said quietly. It's abandonment. Fine. Lily screamed, her face twisted into something barely recognizable. You want the truth? I never wanted any of you. Your father trapped me with his neediness and his cancer and his fucking kids. I was suffocating. I deserved a life. The guests stood frozen in horror. Emma started crying. Jamie put his arm around her. And now, Lily continued, wild-eyed, now you're all rich and successful and buying houses and cars for her? What about me? What do I get? I deserve that money. I suffered. Tyler took out his phone, held it up. We're recording this, he said calmly. Every word. Please continue explaining how you deserve our money after abandoning us for 15 years. Something in Lily's expression changed, a flash of calculation through the drunken rage. She must have realized how she sounded, what she was revealing about herself. You're twisting my words, she said, attempting to modulate her tone. I just want a relationship with my children. Is that so wrong? You want our money, Tyler corrected. You've made that abundantly clear. I want what I'm owed, she screamed, mask slipping again. I gave you life. And that's all you gave us, Emma said, wiping tears. Aunt Kate gave us everything else. Every single thing. Lily looked from face to face, realizing she'd lost. Something dark and ugly crossed her features. "You'll regret this," she hissed. "All of you. You ungrateful little." She didn't finish because security, yes, the house came with security, finally arrived and escorted her off the property, screaming obscenities the whole way. The video Tyler recorded went viral. It was picked up by local news, then national. Mother demands wealth from children she abandoned for 15 years. Lily's face was everywhere, her worst moment captured for posterity. She became an internet meme overnight, the epitome of entitled, toxic parenthood. That was 3 weeks ago. According to mutual acquaintances, Lily has been fired from her job, evicted from her apartment, and has become a social pariah. She's reportedly left the state, possibly the country, to escape the humiliation. The kids have started therapy again to process the trauma of her reappearance and subsequent meltdown. It's been hard, but in some ways, it's been cathartic. They finally got confirmation of what they'd suspected all along: their mother didn't leave because of them. She left because she never wanted to be a mother in the first place. As for me, I'm still adjusting to my new life in a beachfront mansion. It feels excessive, indulgent, almost wrong after so many years of careful budgeting and sacrifice. But the kids insist I deserve it. And the best part isn't the house or the car or the upcoming world tour. It's that my 3 favorite humans still want to be part of my life, even though they don't need me anymore. Last night, we had dinner on the deck, watching the sunset over the ocean. Tyler opened an obscenely expensive bottle of champagne. "To Mom," he said, raising his glass and looking directly at me. "The only one we've ever had or needed." Emma and Jamie echoed the toast, their eyes shining with love and gratitude. In that moment, I knew that despite everything, the hardship, the sacrifice, the recent trauma with Lily, I'd do it all over again in a heartbeat. Because these 3 amazing, successful, loving humans are worth everything. Edit: Holy shit, this blew up overnight. Thank you for all the awards and support. For those asking, yes, we got a restraining order. Yes, the kids are in therapy. Yes, we're still planning our world tour. Edit 2: Since people asked for an update, it's been 2 months since Lily's meltdown went viral. We've heard through the grapevine that she's in Mexico, trying to lie low until the internet forgets about her. Good luck with that. The kids are doing better with therapy. We're leaving for Tokyo next week to start our world tour, and I'm actually letting myself get excited about it. Turns out watching the sunset from your own beachfront property is pretty good therapy too. I never expected my life to take this turn. 15 years ago, I was a terrified 27-year-old wondering how I was going to feed 3 traumatized kids. Today, I'm living a life beyond my wildest dreams, not because of the material things, but because those 3 kids grew into extraordinary adults who still choose to have me in their lives. No amount of beachfront property could ever mean more than that.